Thank you, and welcome to Geek Newscast Special TV Edition. Tonight we will be talking about TV shows, Star Wars Rebels, Gotham, Arrow, Flash, Shield, Once Upon a Time, and Doctor Who. And any questions you have or any other shows you'd like us to discuss, please just send it back and we will address them for you. So let's get right into it. We will start today with Star Wars Rebels. Max, your thoughts?
Star Wars Rebels. It was fun, I guess. It's definitely for kids. Aladdin's in it, so I mean, he was a great part of my childhood. I'm glad to see them bringing him back. It's good. I'm waiting on Raja and Princess Jasmine to show up, and maybe they'll have some zany adventures. What was the monkey's name?
Abu.
There we go. Abu's gonna show up. When Abu finally shows up, everything's gonna be like, okay, I guess it is actually Aladdin.
It's very unfortunate that Robin Williams passed because
Jason, I'm not getting you through the.
I'm watching Star Wars, and the whole time I'm thinking of Max's Aladdin premise because, yeah, the guy voicing the main character sounds just like the guy who voiced Aladdin. They even, like Max said, they even called him Street Rat, and it's. But anyways, as a whole, I'm one of those people. Like Max said last week when we reviewed Episode 1, where we were starved for Star Wars when Episode 1 came out, so we were rushing out to see it. But by the end, I kind of had food poisoning. I was done. Like I had a tough time watching Episodes 4, 5, and 6 since, and I went and I watched this and. It was fun. I don't think it's a great show, but I think it's a show that definitely has potential to be good. I mean, it's a kid show, but it's a kid show that adults can enjoy too and find satisfaction. And definitely, if you're looking for something Star Wars, this is something that can, an appetizer until we get Episode 7, the way I see it. So I'm in. I'm gonna watch them week to week and probably talk about it on here. So I'm excited. I give the show probably a 6.5 out of 10, but it definitely has room for growth. Max, you look like you want to say something.
No, it's okay. I mean, and again, I'm like I said last week, they got my money already. It's not really fair, but it's kind of off-putting that they threw Aladdin in there. I mean, like no one saw that. No one was like, he kind of looks like Aladdin. And then the voice guy comes in and is like, he kind of sounds like Aladdin. And then like they're calling him Street Rat, and you're like, really? And no one said.
And the whole chase reminded me of Aladdin too.
Yeah, give me a break. So that's really throwing me off. But I read the book, which was equally. I'd say the book is on par with the show. That's the origin of this Jedi guy and his little crew of gangsters. But it's mediocre. It's lukewarm, but it's something. So we'll take it.
Lukewarm.
I see what I did there. Not even on purpose.
Well, the way you guys are describing it, if it's got more in terms of tone similar to 4, 5, and 6, I might actually check it out. If there's more of that kind of sense of adventure about it, and less misa misa, zany prequel type stuff, then it might sound interesting.
Yeah, they definitely got away from the prequels. You could tell that Disney is definitely trying to set the tone better. And in my opinion, the tone on this show is the best Star Wars tone we've seen since the original series. So I'm excited. I mean, when I first watched the Clone Wars cartoon, I had a really tough time getting into it. With this, I was able to watch it without having to do other things. So, I mean, it was enough to keep my attention. Max, anything else to add?
No, I mean, yeah, it was all right. It was okay, but that's the best I can give it. I don't know about 6.5, like maybe 5. Mm-hmm. But it's deliberately for kids, so you got to take that into account. And so have your kids watch it. It's not bad. The characters are kind of I feel like from the book, the main character guy, the Jedi, I can't even remember his name. That's how much of a lasting impression he makes. But
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, there you go.
Hayden.
But he's like a combination Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, and like I feel like that's what they're just like, well, what if we had this, and so that's yeah. So there's a lot to take into account when watching the show, but it's for kids, so it's allowed to be terrible, I guess.
Yeah.
Just so you know, moving forward, not all of us have seen everything we're going to talk about tonight, so you'll see some of us be quiet during certain topics. It's just because we don't want to be those people that talk about something we haven't seen yet. So, moving on to Gotham, which unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I haven't had a chance to watch yet. I'm going to watch it probably later tonight or tomorrow morning. It's just too much television this week that I wanted to watch a little bit more. But Mike and Max have both seen it, so they're gonna discuss their thoughts and opinions. Mike?
Oh, me first. Okay. Well, I'm a Batman fan, so I kind of accept a lot of the good and a lot of the bad with Batman. Even Schumacher's stuff. So.
Oh man! Wow.
That's a different topic. That's a different topic for another time.
That's a touchy subject with me.
And I was kind of 50-50 about Smallville as a whole, as a series. There were aspects of it I did like. There were later seasons I didn't particularly care for. But I thought the concept was fairly solid. And then when I heard about Gotham, I was kind of skeptical too. Like, how can you tell a Batman story essentially and not touch upon Batman heavy-handedly? And then focusing more on James Gordon and Bullock and making it more of a cop procedural, I thought was kind of a cool idea because I do like those characters. I'm glad we have a live-action Harvey Bullock. I think Daniel Rowe's really good as Bullock. It's uneven. This is just the first 3 episodes, and hopefully it does find some footing. But overall, I'm enjoying it. I'm not loathing it as much as I thought I would be, or adulating it probably as much as I thought I'd be. I did like the pilot, but I think it's kind of got to settle into a groove now.
I mean, the show is all over the place, and it's really weird. Just because, at some points it's kind of like supposed to be this cop thing where you have the one good cop in a city full of bad cops, and then on the other hand they don't really take that to where it would go. It seems to me like they're basing a lot of Jim Gordon off of the Year One Jim Gordon out of the Frank Miller's Batman Year One, and I really like that because he was the same good cop in a bad city and. The whole department, or not the whole department, but all the bad cops in the department end up getting together and beating the crap out of him. And then he finds the biggest one and takes a baseball bat to him. But I'm not getting that from this, and that would be really good, I think. And I feel like Jim Gordon isn't as smart as he. That they don't play him off as smart as he is, because he wouldn't be doing the things that he does. If he was a smart man, he'd play it a lot more low key because he knows that he's the only guy out here trying to do the right thing.
Well, they said he's like fresh out of the army and stuff like that, right?
Well, I mean, still, but he's just like a bullheaded moron, and it doesn't, because Jim Gordon, he always he saw the bigger picture, he saw how things were, and it's like. I understand, maybe with the Wayne murders, he's going a little crazy, like trying to do the right thing, but then.
Right.
After he sees what goes down, after the lesson he learns with the Penguin, he should already, the Jim Gordon I want to see is already getting the picture. He's like, I can't do this the way I've been doing it because, he's already in over his head. And so that's where I feel like they're losing their touch, and I feel like the show could really be very good, and they're losing it.
Well, also factor in the fact that, when Bruce Wayne is finally going to be Batman age, everyone's going to be in their 80s. So it's going to be an easy cleanup for him.
But someone has the show is kind of like the prequel to Batman the Animated Series, and I like that, and I want to like the show because of that. But they're making it hard, just like they're just making it hard, and. I hate all the kids. I hate that they got Selena Kyle in here. And I'm just like, kids can't act, and it's not their fault. They just don't have any life experience. So, So, keep him off of there. Like, you don't need to see Bruce Wayne every show. I don't want to see him. He's not the point.
I will admit that, yeah, I was kind of hoping that he'd kind of just show up every once in a while and wouldn't be so much the focus.
Fourth episode, and it's again touching on the fact that Jim Gordon can't solve the Wayne murders.
Yeah.
But whatever, right? I mean, I'm just some guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully they'll introduce like more characters, like eventually like Harvey Dent, because I think the thing about the show too is that it's way over the top corrupt. Like there's no silver lining at all in the city, so you're kind of like, why should I invest in this if it's beyond saving? So if they bring in more optimistic characters like Harvey Dent,
but I wouldn't want to see and at 20-something Harvey Dent when Bruce Wayne is only 13. I feel
that's
like
true. Yeah.
They should be like the same age. And
I think there needs to be a little bit more optimism in it for people to invest more and care more about it.
Well, I feel like they could do the lady who runs the orphanage from the animated series,
Leslie Tompkins.
Yes, and like they could bring her in, and she why don't they have her kind of lead Jim Gordon? She's like, she does a lot of good in the bad city, and she also knows no one she doesn't take crap off of anybody, and that's how you got to be in Gotham.
She's the one who actually counsels Bruce Wayne in regular canon. Like, she's the one who actually, comforts him first and foremost. Like, Gordon's not even really there.
Right. So, I mean, it's just things you can do within the Bat universe that would make it a lot better that they just don't see, and they're not gonna touch on. It's whatever. But the show's entertaining. I'm entertained by it.
I know exactly what the show needs. I know exactly what it needs. A 30-year-old Dick Grayson shows up. That'll really mess people up.
Like, oh no, it was Dick Grayson from the future. Dude, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a Gotham Flash crossover where the Flash runs Dick Grayson back to the past into Gotham to solve the mystery.
So, I mean, was this episode better than the two previous ones? Like, is it gearing in that direction? Or?
No, it's the same or worse, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say it's about the same quality. There were aspects I did like the balloon deaths.
Yeah, that was different. Yeah, I liked that a lot. That was really different. Because I couldn't figure out how you would save somebody from that. Because you can't fly a helicopter up and save. It's too high for a ladder by the time anyone knows what's going on, and that's a crazy way to go. I would have never thought of that, and it sounds so stupid too when you say the balloon man. It's like that's the dumbest thing ever, but it really is really cool because there's no. What can you do in that situation?
Wait for him to come down.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, what if you're the guy hanging?
Didn't say it was an all-around solution.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, no, I thought that was great. I was like, and you don't want to like it just because it sounds so stupid, but yeah, he's handcuffing people to weather balloons and sending them up.
Awesome. Anything else to add, guys, to Gotham episode 3?
No, it's still pretty meh, but
I'll stick with it still. But yeah, hopefully something churns along that really propels it into something fresh and new.
It happened for S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D. is awesome. And
yeah, but we had to sit through a season of crap.
Speaking of S.H.I.E.L.D., let's go there. This is a show that I was excited for last year. Like, I was one of the people. I was seeing Joss Whedon's returning to television, and then I found out that Joss Whedon was just going to direct the first episode, and it was actually his family that was doing the show. And I lost interest after the second or third episode, but I heard it got better later. So this year I tuned in for season 2, and man, it is awesome. Each episode is better than the next. I thought the one this week was awesome.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, I missed it this week.
Yeah, I like what they're doing with Simmons and Fitz and like all the characters. It's really cool.
Fitz became like the most sympathetic character now. Like at first he seemed just a little too plucky, a little too silly for that show, like him and Simmons. And then after what happened to them last season, like I like the way he's playing kind of damaged and darker now.
Yeah, I like that as well. I think that's good how they're doing that, and he's kind of still putting himself back together. And then you see that, like, yeah, he has an imaginary friend, but his imaginary friend is helping him get back to right. You can tell that he's on the way back to being healthy. But Yeah, no, I like how they're playing that off. I think season 2 definitely started off way better than season 1, and I agree with Jason that it just gets better and better. I'm excited to see this next episode.
Everyone seems refocused. Like, my least favorite character last season was actually Sky, and not really because of her personality or anything like that. They just really didn't know what to do with her. I felt for the first half of the season, she was just kind of there, and then they instill like this mystery past, which is still going on, but it seems like that character and the actress are actually a little bit more refocused now. Like, there's an actual mission in mind for her. There's an actual mission overall for the show to kind of take back the world, but take it back quietly.
Well, and the other thing too is, the whole season she's like, "Oh, well, I'm just some girl who got kidnapped by Shield one day, and here I am." And it's like, "Oh, well, I don't really know what to do," but now she's been with them for so long, and she's undergone training, and yada yada. So she's actually like, a competent member of the team.
Yeah, she's fully embraced it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's cool too. I like her progression because she was definitely the most. I don't want to say the most ridiculous, but it's like, okay, you're just like some person. What are you doing? You're jet setting across the planet, doing all this crazy stuff, and you're, whatever. But I like how they're progressing everybody. And I like that Shield is much smaller. I thought they were gonna do because Samuel L. Jackson will do anything for money, so I thought he was gonna be on. I thought he was gonna be on the show a little more. It was gonna be Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And because I really like those comic books. There's a lot of crazy super spy stuff, but it's all it's like 7 people and it's very small, and I like that.
Well, I hope they still do that stuff where they can have like the tie-ins and the cameos better done, of course, not the Thor: The Dark World tie-in that it was, but I hope they can make it more meaningful when those events do happen. But at the same time, it seems like it really can be sustaining itself now without that's what was the problem, I think, with the first season, was that it was, like you said, Max, it was so big, the organization and kind of the premise, that they were just kind of floating from adventure to adventure with no real goal in mind. And now that everything's been kind of brought down to basics again, they have a clear-cut goal in mind for this show and for the team.
I agree. I think from what I've heard about the first season and stuff, it seems like the Captain America storyline kind of tied the hands of the show. Like, they couldn't progress until that happened, and now that that's happened, the show has actually been a lot more freer and able to do what it needs to do, and instead of just spinning its tires waiting for Captain America 2 to come out. But no, it is awesome, and I can't wait. And Samuel Jackson appearing on the show, I like how he's been doing it. He comes in just enough that Nick Fury is there, but he's not overbearing, because I like Agent Coulson, and I like the guy who plays him. I think he does a good job on the show. Now they're talking in the news and stuff, and Robert Downey Jr. is doing his public negotiations, and him and Jeremy Renner have both expressed interest in wanting to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I can see it happening before Avengers 2 comes out. They come on, and it kind of ties into the movie. And I would love to see. I'd love to see Robert Downey Jr. Get over himself and come onto the small screen. That'd be awesome.
I would buy Jeremy Renner showing up. Iron Man being there. I don't know about all that.
You don't need Iron Man. Just have Tony Stark.
Well, still, I don't know. I don't think I'd buy that. I don't like that. But Hawkeye, definitely would love to see Scarlett Johansson or Jeremy Renner on the show. I think that would just be perfect.
They're bringing Mockingbird onto the show. I know she's gonna be played by Adrienne Palicki from Friday Night Lights, I think. And so I think she's got a history with Hawkeye, I believe. I can't remember. So that might be a nice segue for him to be able to show up.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm just saying, as I just don't feel like Tony Stark is kind of too big for the agents. I feel like Tony Stark would just be doing his. He thinks more globally.
We have our first question from Joe P. He asks, would you guys say that I could watch just the last couple episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 to know what was going on with Season 2? If the first season sucks, I don't want to waste the time. Joe, honestly, I started with Season 2. I think I'm going to go back to where Captain America 2 ends on the show and start there, kind of get caught up. So that's what I recommend doing, is find out which episode is the direct sequel to Captain America 2 and watch that, and then go from there on.
There's,
Uh,
I think there's like 2 or 3 episodes before that episode that actually talk about the mystery of Coulson's resurrection. So that's when it starts to get more interesting and more good. Like I think the episode's called Tahiti or the Magical Place or whatever. It's like the 13th episode, I think, and that's where things start to pick up. Like after the season break.
Yeah, I would definitely say I suggest starting at the movie tie-in, and then just go from there. You can really figure it out. There's no like all the characters are pretty cut and dry, so there's no crazy intense intellectualness to it that you need to worry about. Definitely start. Yeah, don't even get me started about Lost. But no, it's pretty terrible in the beginning. So go ahead and start about halfway through. You're not going to be missing anything, and you will be a lot less sorry for it.
Awesome. Next up, we'll go to Flash. Max and I kind of touched on this because we got an early copy of it when it came out around Comic-Con time. But there was all this stuff that said they had added something. But when I watched it, I have no idea what anybody's talking about. But I still enjoyed the show the second time around. I thought it was fun. It does have its weaknesses. I think maybe just the inexperience and the actors, because they don't really have a whole lot of past experience. And
I'm with Max. It's a network. The network's the main problem with it, I feel, because they like the CW casts young, sometimes ridiculously young, like to the point where I don't believe these are adults working in like a police department.
No way.
So, I mean, it is just the pilot episode. It is fun comic book action for the most part, and that was very enjoyable. I liked where Tom Cavanaugh, the actor, the guy in the wheelchair, and they got the old Flash from the 90s show to play Barry Allen's dad in this one, so that's kind of cool. Those are some good moments, but overall, like, the lead guy, he hasn't sold me quite yet as Barry Allen. Like you were saying, he seems too fresh-faced for it. I would have preferred if they cast a little bit older, but that was really my only complaint.
I mean, the show's on the CW, so like any terribleness that I'm going to complain about is instantly negated by the argument that it's on the CW, so it doesn't really matter. But no, I mean, I'm having fun. Like right from the gate, like right out of the gate, they just let you know that this is going to be crazy, zany comic book fun. I mean, they tease Gorilla Grodd. They just, they go nuts. And like the thing that gets me is that the special effects aren't really any better than, if this was on in the 90s. Like, they could have made this show at any point in time with the technology that they're using. And I was kind of sad for that. I was just like, well, at this point in time, we should be able to get something a little better. I was hoping they would do something different, but I don't know what they could have done. I'm not, I'm not Mr. Technical Movie Guy, but I figured they could have done something better than, just guy going like in front of the screen and it looks like like that's the only thing that gets me, is that I thought they were going to do something different than that, but whatever. The show's still fun. They're teasing Professor Zoom. They're teasing.
They showed photos of him.
Yeah. So
photos got leaked. It was really cool.
So you're there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good Flash stuff, and Flash is a very lighthearted character. He's like the the witty guy or whatever in the Justice League. So he's the bringing it back down to earth, and hey guys, not everything's so bleak. And you stand the Flash next to Batman, and it's polar opposites. But I'm liking the show, and they're doing what they're doing, so it's good. I'm like, this doesn't have the problem that I had with Arrow season 2, where there's like, hey, this wasn't anything except for crazy costumes and all kinds of stuff going down. Like, we make no apologies for it. So I'm down. I'm having a good time.
Oh, there was one last thing I kind of sort of had a problem with. The plot device or gimmick that they pretty much took from Smallville. Big explosion causes freakish powers to emerge out of everyone. I understand he's got to have like a weekly person fight. It would have been kind of cool just to say like, hey, these people are out there and they exist. Not every supervillain's tied into one big accident that makes you a hero. That's about the only thing. But yeah, like
And it's weird that like nobody else is good. You know, it's like, oh man, all these
Exactly.
murders, and it's like, no one's reporting crazy freak people just saving, babies out of burning buildings and stuff like that. It's all just like, oh, they're murdering and raping and pillaging.
yeah, why don't some of the good cops get the powers?
Like no, out of all the random chances, like not even, I don't even say good, like even just like a regular guy, just like maybe, I don't know, maybe he holds up or he stops a car crash or something like that and then goes to work, just trying to keep out of the way, but nothing. It's all bad, like, except for the Flash.
That's the moral of the Flash. He's the last good person left.
Well, so the middle of the Flash had a nice little cameo from Green Arrow, which I thought it could have
Cool.
been. I wasn't gonna say cool.
Give me a break. Give me a break with that.
It could have been worse. They wanted to make sure, they wanted to throw it in your face that it's the same universe, and
Yeah.
I'm glad it was only 30 seconds as opposed to what it could have been. So, but where I'm going with this is Arrow. Unfortunately, I, again, did not get to see this. I think Max is the one on this panel that actually
man, I watched it. Am I the only one who watched it?
Yeah.
All right, well, strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a barn burner. No. Arrow was it was good. The action was good. I feel like after season 2, I just recently watched the end of season 2 so I could watch the beginning of this one, and they're milking this time away too much. Like now they're saying he wasn't just on the island; he went to Hong Kong for a little while, and he had all this crazy psychological, Jason Bourne type training with Amanda Waller, and it's like, just give me a break, man. He can't just move on. Like, we're not past it. 2 seasons and we're not past it. He's like this whole new person and we're still not past it. And it's just, like, I wish they would stop doing flashbacks. You need to just get rid of the flashbacks. He's done. We all know his life was terrible. And then he came back home. Like, that's it.
Well,
so I'm kind of sick of them trying to milk as much as they can out of that.
Well, because Lost was a really popular show, see, so they gotta emulate it as much as possible.
But like, yeah, that's really weak. That's one of the weak parts of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad that they got a hot chick to play Amanda Waller. I don't like that. They should have got a big fat old lady.
They should just brought Pam. They should just brought back Pam Grier from Smallville to be Amanda.
Oh. But no, I was kind of upset that Amanda Waller wasn't a big fat lady. They copped out. They really copped out. She's just super hot chick. But no, I thought Arrow was pretty terrible because a lot of the time they spend, he's just like, he's trying to date Felicity and he's trying to decide whether or not he should be Oliver Queen and the Arrow or if he can do it, and it's this whole like.
CW Max.
I mean, but give me a break, man. Just we can't just see some ass beating and some just like breaking down at criminals. Give me a break. I did like the little twist they threw in at the end there. I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but it was a pretty good ending. At least we got something at the end that was actually decent. But no, it was just too much drama and not enough. And then, you know what I did like? I did like the Red Arrow. I like Speedy, the sidekick. He's doing good. Roy Harper. Yeah, because like they were just like, oh, Speedy will take care of it, and Speedy actually does a good like 3/4 of the work in this episode. And he's just like, oh yeah, no, Speedy, go take care of it. And Speedy's like, yeah, okay. And then he runs off and does it. They don't even show it. They don't even show all the awesome stuff that he's doing. But yeah, so no, I mean, but it's still Arrow, and it is on the CW, so you can't complain too much about all the terribleness they got going on. But
yeah,
it's and then this season I'm down again. Like they last season they opened up the floodgates, so now I know what the show is. I know it's all craziness and costumes and superheroes, so I'm down with it. I'm with the program. It was okay. It wasn't any worse than the worst episode last season, so I'm going to watch next week and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, awesome. So moving on to Doctor Who, Mike is a special guest, so he hasn't really been able to share his thoughts on the series so far this season. So We'll let Mike and Max talk a little bit about Doctor Who. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm a relatively new Whovian, to say like I only really got into it after watching Day of the Doctor, and then I went back and I marathoned everything, starting with I guess the Ninth Doctor's first episode, and then I caught up to the Tennant and Matt Smith stuff. And now we're here with Peter Capaldi, who I think is an awesome choice. I'm glad they skewed older for it. There's less of a chance of romantic subplots, which kind of threw off the momentum of past series. I felt like with David Tennant and the Rose stuff, I never really got into that. Yeah, but like yeah, I'm glad they skewed older. He's funny, he's quirky, he's eccentric, egomaniac at times, and yeah, he's a reliable doctor, but he's not a reliable doctor. And I like that dynamic between him and his companion Clara, is that she knows she can rely on him, but there are times where she's like, I don't think I really can.
Well, I like her. I'm glad that they've kept on with her as the companion. That's good. Peter Capaldi is doing a good job. I mean, I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's standard Doctor Who, and I'm down. It's cheesy science fiction fun, and and everyone's having a good time. I hated Tennant, and he was like the longest running one that we've had since it started back up, and I absolutely couldn't stand him from the get go. So that was pretty terrible. But this guy, I really liked. He's fun. He's making fun of himself. You never know what he's gonna do, and then
he's Scottish, so he can complain about things now.
Yes, exactly. So and he's Scottish. I love you got to dig the accent, dig what's going on. Yeah, and it's just standard Doctor Who fare. So I'm happy with it. I'm having a good time this season. I'm actually behind a couple episodes, but the ones that I've seen like 5 or 6, and they're just Doctor Who, and we're back in business. So I'm excited to see where they take it.
All right. I'm going to briefly touch on the first 2 seasons of Once Upon a Time, because I know a lot of nerdier people watch it. So
speaking of Disney princesses and stuff, though, as soon as you get into Once Upon a Time, did you know that Aladdin is on Star Wars?
I do know that. I'm waiting to see Jasmine and the genie, like I said. But anyway,
Street Rat.
I was humming that when he was running through the being chased. It was awesome. But anyway, I thought the first season of Once Upon a Time was good. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. The second season, I felt that it dragged. Like, they took an element of a story that could have been in the season finale of season 1, and they stretched it across 12 episodes. And then they finally caught their guard, and the show got a little bit better. But with season 4, I feel like the show has returned to form. I thought the whole Frozen thing would be a money grab, a ratings grab, and it wouldn't serve a story. But so far, that is honestly one of the best story devices that show has used since the first season. So yeah, if you haven't seen it and you have a family, I recommend watching it.
So the cold doesn't bother you anyway?
It does, actually, and that song is always stuck in my head. I'm watching Halloween 2 today with my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my other brother-in-law, and their daughter is listening to Let It Go, as freaking Michael Myers is like jamming a knife into this dead body like so violently, and in the background it's this nice Disney song. It was crazy.
Well, now I'm never going to watch Halloween 2 the same.
Yeah. No, you can't, unless you're playing Let It Go in the background.
Or Let It Be.
Let It Be. Much better.
That's great. Everyone now if you really want to get creeped out, you got to watch Halloween 2 and play Disney music in the background, and that is how you make the movie scary.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below as you're watching it. Like us on Facebook, YouTube. Send us comments, feedback. We're really trying to make this better, and we could use some feedback coming our way. We got a lot of plans and things that we'd like to do in the future, but we can't do that until we know a little bit more about what you guys like or would like us to do or like us to see or what we could improve. So, yeah, please send us any comments. It was nice having you again, Mike.
It was fun being here.
I hope we can do this more often with you,
Sure.
because that's the nice thing about Google Hangouts. We don't have to be in the same city.
Let's hang it out up.
Oh, Jason, are we gonna tease the contest for OhioCon?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Max and I, do you want to talk about it? Or you want me to talk about it?
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
All right. Max and I will be at Ohio Comic Con. We will give out 2 movie tickets to the first person who finds us, and
We have to be
gonna.
together.
Yes, we have to be together, and you have to find us, which it should be fairly easy. We're gonna be together, probably following JDF around, but
JDF is the man. We're gonna get an interview with JDF this year.
seriously though, we'll be promoting this on our Facebook page. If you find us, we'll give you the tickets, and you can go see a movie at the Arena Grand Theater in the district. It's supposed to be pretty nice, and it'll admit 2. So yeah, definitely look for us. Next podcast will be Monday night at 9 p.m. Philip will be joining us again. He is currently en route to where we are now for a bachelor party that's taking place this weekend. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
For a bachelor party.
Quick question: what's the movie?
you can
Any
choose
movie.
anything. Yeah, take.
Oh yeah.
I was about to
These are-
say, don't
these are-
saddle me with Alexander and the terrible, horrible, whatever. Nothing.
Nah,
Very
use the
bad
2
day.
tickets to go see Interstellar. That's what I recommend
There we
doing.
go. Interstellar. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Gone Girl. I still gotta get in and see that.
Oh, dude, that's great.
Did you
You
see
seen
it?
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday. It's good.
Okay.
I can't
yeah,
wait to
I
watch
gotta
your
check that
vlog.
out. I mean, I just want Ben Affleck to be good in something, because Runner was pretty terrible, and I'm trying to argue for Ben Affleck in this Batman movie, and
Me too.
he made it hard with Runner. So if this movie's real good, then I can be like, hey man, Gone Girl, Argo, what do you think about that? And then we can.
I gotta say, not without giving too much away of the plot, there is a point where he's walking down the street with a girl, and they get to an alleyway, and he says, "Here, I want to show you something." And I whisper over to someone, "It's like that's the alley where my parents died." Batman.
Bringing it full circle.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. And if you haven't checked out Mike's YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. His video logs are entertaining and very informative. He does a bunch of clips where he will discuss top 10s. He does some original work, some animation, and it's awesome. I've done some work for him, voiceover, and I look forward to doing it again. But like I said, please check out McG TV on Facebook also, and check out Geek News on Facebook. We have a Twitter presence too at Geek News, and Max runs that. So yeah,
Do I
we'll
run
see you
that?
guys Monday.
Oh crap.
Philip says hello. Goodbye.